What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Monday, January 29th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the New York Times quoted at Tim Geddes.
Let Tim host. How are you? Yeah.
How am I?
Yeah.
How am I, Tim?
How are you, Greg?
There's a brand new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire trailer, 2 to be exact.
2 trailers?
There's an international one that apparently has difference. Don't worry, I'm reacting to both of them after the show.
Everybody,
haven't watched them.
Remain calm.
Don't know if there's a proton pack in there, but I'm assuming there is, and I'm very excited about it, Tim.
Very excited for you.
Excited. If that wasn't enough, PlayStation Showcase announced for today.
That's going to be really fun.
If that wasn't enough, there's a new DC game coming out today/tomorrow. And is it good? Is it horrible? I don't know yet.
Is it actually out?
I'm excited. No, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. New Zealand got to have a little taste and then have it taken away, but we'll get back to that. I am in a great mood. And ladies and gentlemen, this weekend in Pokemon Violet, I got all my gym badges. So I am preparing to take on the Elite Four.
We got him, everybody.
I have one more Titan to take down to save this dude's fucking dog. I'm in a great spot right now. Then I'll into the DLC.
I'm so happy for you, Greg.
Thank you.
Greg, I have some good news, some great news, and some absolutely horrible news.
Wow. Shit.
All right.
Fuck, okay.
All involving Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
Oh, no.
All right. This weekend.
Yeah. You got your save eaten. I bet.
I 100%.
Okay,
Prince of Persia.
great.
That's
okay.
the good news.
Okay, that's the good
100%
news.
of Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
That. I like
The
that.
great news is, now that all is said and done, and I've 100%ed this fantastic video game, I was saying that like playing this game made me realize I think Metroidvanias might be my favorite genre. Playing this game made me realize I think this might be my favorite Metroidvania. And now that it's done, I'm like, this is easily a top 10 of all time game for Tim Geddes. Everybody should play Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. It is utterly fantastic. But here's where I get to the horrible news, Greg.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here at this desk the last couple of weeks. I've been telling everybody, my God, I can't believe how well you
Oh, no. It is going this way. That's what I was afraid.
I can't believe that I could just play on the Switch, and I can play on the PlayStation, and it's just upload the cloud, save, download the thing, and everything's fine.
Does this involve trophies at all?
It does, Greg.
Can I then tell you exactly what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You fucking little trophy noob. God damn. God fucking forbid you listen to a word I ever say on these shows with you. So let me guess. You were all gung-ho, big dick swinging. I'm going to go out and I'm going to platinum this game. Yeah. And so you've been transferring your save back willy-nilly, all unprotected, like not thinking about it. Now you sat down at your PlayStation, said, time to do this. What am I missing? Wait. There's trophies here for beating a boss, I would assume. Yeah, beating a boss or something. Yeah. That's not how trophies work, you big dumb idiot.
This fucking sucks, Greg.
If it was an online game, if it was an online server game where they got to ping the server and give you all that information, sure. A local game like that, you're fucked. There's not a chance.
I looked, I was like, why do I have 53% trophies? Like, that can't be right. And it was when I only had like a handful of things left to do. And I'm like, what is going on? And I was looking at it, and some of them, I'm not going to say what they are spoiler-wise, but it was like, defeat the this or whatever. I was like, I did that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And like, it took me way too long to realize what was going on, Greg.
Yeah.
But now I'm heartbroken. I don't know what to do. Like, I've come up with a solution, kind of.
Thank you. Again, sitting next to you this long, this has been the solution I tell you about all the time. Take the Switch and the fucking gaming PC and throw them out. If you just play on PlayStation, you don't have to worry about this. It's so fucking simple. You have a portal. It's like a Vita. You can play anywhere.
It's not OLED, Greg, and it makes all the fucking...
Get excited for Switch, too. Fucking sap.
Fucking sucks. But what I think I can do is I just need to get... Because you can upload and download the saves from the cloud. I just need to get someone else's save. Does that work?
Not a chance,
no?
You stupid idiot. No. It's going to be tied to your thing. Like, no. So you're saying... Get somebody else's save on a PC and put that into your thing and do that. You know what? Here's what I will say. As you all know, PC gaming, not even once. All right? It's the domino thing where you start with PC gaming and then the big one is Chris Hansen catches you. No.
Dang.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to be one of these perverts who does it. So I don't 1,000% know. I should dial that back. My thought would be no, that there's going to be some kind of save protection, save scumming, whatever weird shit on there that would make it tied to your Ubisoft account name, that you couldn't put it in there and do it. But I guess I could be wrong on that. I shouldn't say definitively no.
Yeah.
I would bet no. But again,
it's just unfortunate.
PC perverts are weirdos doing all sorts of stupid ass shit over there to make things work.
It hurts my soul because it makes it feel like it means less. even though it really doesn't. And I hate that I've become you in some way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a great learning experience for you.
Yeah.
Just not being committed to anything.
Yeah.
You thought you could go over there and just put it inside anything and it'd be fine. But look now, you're itchy. It's burning and you can't do that.
I don't know if you heard what this all caused. Not this exactly, but kind of this.
Gia's leaving you? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Not yet.
I mean, I could have expected it. You know,
Not
no
yet.
Christmas tree
Not
for
yet.
8 years.
Steam Deck OLED on the way.
Ow!
It's happening.
See, and this solves your problem again. Because now with Steam Deck and a few things you got to go do, you could remote play your PlayStation.
That is kind of what I'm doing it for. Yeah. Roger sold me on it, where the remote plays better than the Portal, which I'm very happy with the Portal.
I don't buy that.
But you can force it to not do the stupid compression stuff and not go to lower bit rates.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
And also the OLED, man. I'm broken in the mind.
So I haven't had a chance. I've been very busy. I was at the Royal Rumble working, everybody. Don't worry about it. How you doing? But I didn't listen to the Games Daily about the Switch 2, where they said not OLED.
Yeah.
Are you mad? Are you upset? Are you crying?
I'm honestly like first world problem, heartbroken about this.
Yeah.
Like it really sucks. It makes business sense. I understand Nintendo did such a good job getting the install base right to just deliver banger after banger with their games. They're going to want to do that again. They want to get as many people in as fast as possible so they can redeliver more Mario Kart, Mario, Animal Crossing, all of it just again, right? We're going to see the Switch again, and it's cheaper, makes sense. Then they get to put out a new one. I'll buy that one too.
And that's a smart business.
Yeah, man, it sucks. It really sucks.
Well, I look forward to your journey here to try to get this Prince of Persia Plat. But I think you should just probably restart on PlayStation, just play it all the way through. That's probably what you have to do.
I played so much of the majority of it on PlayStation.
I know. Don't get me wrong. That's the thing with Diablo, where like when I was using my Steam Deck, not for remote play, I should say, when I was using it with it natively on it or whatever, I was doing very specific things so as not to screw anything up.
Yeah. Learned my lesson now. Henceforth.
But I digress, Tim.
Let's get to the news.
Let's talk about the fact that the news includes the state of play that's been announced, what's up with Suicide Squad reviews, and more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with a Kinda Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show known as Gregway. For your chance to be part of this very show, Kinda Funny Games Daily, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. We go live to the YouTube Super Chats where Guitar Hero Arrow says, "Hey Tim, dilly, dally, shilly, shally."
Hell yeah, baby.
Does that mean anything to you?
All fancy.
Oh, I thought they were just being goofs. I like that.
We're being reborn.
Lame. Housekeeping for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed it, a new episode of Game Showdown is up on Friday with Snowbike Mike making his debut for Team Greg. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunnygames to watch it right now. I assume Mike wins.
He showed up for you appropriately.
Ooh, I don't like how that sounds. The party mode from our 12-hour anniversary stream is also up right now. It's Tim versus Blessing in Mario 64. It's a race to defeat Bowser. You can catch that on youtube.com/kindafunnygames as well.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is so much closer than you would expect it to be. And also, like, we took different routes. So it was really interesting.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, shit, what's
and
each
you
one
guys
of them
weren't
doing?
allowed to practice, right?
Yeah, no practice at all. Just jumping in.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And your final piece of housekeeping, ladies and gentlemen, is, of course, we've teamed up with the Indie Exchange for the Ultimate Spring Game Showcase. The game submission deadline for the Mix/Kinda Funny Spring Showcase is February 2nd. You can head to kindafunny.com/spring showcase to get your game submitted and hopefully be part of the madness. Thank you to the Patreon producers who are always part of this madness, Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by the Kinda Funny membership, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 7 items on it.
A baker's dozen.
Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The PlayStation State of Play returns this Wednesday. We go to the PlayStation blog. Hi, everyone. 2024 has just begun, and it's time for your very first State of Play. The broadcast will be over 40 minutes long and feature guest appearances from some of the most talented minds in gaming. Among many other updates, we'll feature extended looks at Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin. 2 great games coming to PlayStation 5 this year. And we'll give you a new look at other titles coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2 in 2024 and beyond. The show begins Wednesday, January 31st at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, kind of funny. We'll be live reacting to it, having a ball, hanging out with you.
The prophecy's true. This is one half of it.
This is a
Where's
Jeff Grubby one, right?
The Nintendo Direct. You know, there's always two sides to the coin.
When there's one announcement, there must be equal announcements, is what they always say.
So now the clock starts ticking on when that thing's going to be announced. But this is very exciting, Greg. Lot to talk about here. You want to talk about this little
minutes.
The rumor here?
Sure. Why not?
Let's
of course, ladies and gentlemen, there is a tweet of a related rumor from the one, the only Nobel. Nobel puts up rumor, according to Bill Coon, who, remember, is right all the fucking time. Says, Firewalk's multiplayer shooter Concord for PlayStation 5 and PC is heavily inspired by Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and is getting a gameplay reveal, in parentheses, probably at the rumored state of play this week, pretty soon, in parentheses, pretty soon.
It's pretty wild to think about the cultural impact that Guardians of the Galaxy had. That James Gunn
there in that image they have or whatever that has like the little guy that looks like Yondu's thing. It's funny because when I originally read it, When I originally read the tweet, I jumped to the game from Square Enix, Square.
Yeah.
God damn it, from Square. Yep. And it was like, oh, that's weird that they'd be that inspired. And then I was like, oh, this is a fucking movie.
Yeah,
James Gunn has kind of made a whole goddamn thing about it.
But I've said this so many times, but it's like James Gunn made space colorful. And space has been colorful before in different ways, but like not only just literally the colors, which there's an abundance of, but just the cast of characters and just like all of it. It's so much fun. But it's wild, like that is impacting everything, movies, games, everything in between. There's another rumor though, Greg. There was another tweet that went out. I'm going to read this from wrap up over on comicbook.com by Mark DeChamps. Okay. There was a tweet from King Gronk Nick, who, similar to Bill Coon, gets things right.
Okay.
And has in the past. They accurately leaked several games that were at State of Play in September 2023. So, the tweet for now. Tweet. On the 31st, roughly, Ronins will rise, will die stranded, have a rebirth, and Kojima will fulfill his dream. Sonic will live in the shadow of his generation, while the hills will remain silent until the dawn, when you'll need to catch the metro. Just don't be a Judas about it.
When did they put this up?
This went up on January 28th, yesterday at noon.
Okay. I'm going to toss in number 2 on the Roper Report, because this is also a rumor, somewhat related. The next Metro title is a single-player VR game, it's claimed. This is Grant Taylor Hill at Insider Gaming. Metro has stood relatively silent as a series since the release of Exodus in 2019. This legendary post-apocalyptic franchise has given the likes of Fallout a run for its money since debuting way back in 2010. But in recent years, fans have been wondering what could be next for the franchise. Months ago, we exclusively revealed that the next big Metro game was in playable state and offered up some details about the story and how it all begins. However, recent claims have suggested that this next game will be a single-player VR project called Metro Awakening, and it's due to be revealed in the coming days. Of course, now take it back to story number 1, that we're talking about PlayStation VR 2 titles, and then, of course, in there, they talked about Metro.
Everything's starting to come together.
So here's what I want.
A lot of
Take
sense.
that tweet and send it to Barrett on Assets. I need to look at it, and we need to go straight through it.
Yeah,
because obviously, we're catching Death Stranding easy. Easy peasy, got it. Cool. Metro, cool.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Sure, of course. Cool.
On the nose.
I mean, yeah, obviously, right? We're so close, which is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Can you believe how close you are?
We were talking about this last week, where obviously there's no exact pattern when it comes to PlayStation showcases or state of plays. Like, they're always a slightly different format. But we always are like, well, these games are coming out around there. And it's like, they don't always shout that out. Like, they don't always do the, oh, and remember, next week this thing's happening or whatever it is. Sometimes they do, though. So I wouldn't necessarily feel like they need to show Rebirth, but not surprised that it would be there. I will say we're getting a lot of Rebirth. Like, I feel like it might be time to pump the brakes a little bit on
that's you and me talking, not PlayStation talking, who needs to say, hey, this game is console exclusive to us in a year where you're not probably getting Sucker Punch, you're not getting Insomniac, you're not getting Naughty Dog. Like, and there's, a sizable gap you'd imagine with PlayStation first-party titles not being there. I think if you're PlayStation, you do say, don't forget, this is there, right? One of the super chats we have here is CJ Splitson, who says, Tifa! 1 month left, right?
Yeah,
like
there's excitement for sure, but I feel like you're absolutely right. I just am a little concerned that knowing PlayStation and knowing Square, with how many trailers we've gotten for Rebirth now, they're going to want to show something new to not piss off the hardcore people. Yeah. So I feel like they're just going to maybe overstep a little bit. I hope not. There's going to be a lot in this game. But I'm just at the point that I'm like, hey, man, we're so close. Like,
I think you get a
very
very simple trailer, and that can be the part of that. Barry, can I see the tweet again to start breaking this down? Now, what some people call that, of course, not that King Gronk Nick here knows everything necessarily, but there is no Stellar Blade mentioned in here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got there, right? So Ronins will die, of course. Or Ronins will rise. Sorry, Rise the Ronin, got it. We'll be die stranded. Death Stranding, got it.
You think it's called On the Beach?
I do.
Yeah.
Have a rebirth. Okay, Final Fantasy. Kojima will fulfill his dream. Is that OD? We doing something there?
It isn't OD Xbox. Is it Xbox exclusive?
Yeah, I think you might be right. Chat, you can just tell me on that one. Oh, Infinite Corp says movie. That's an interesting one.
That's his dream. That's his dream.
Yeah, and it is Xbox exclusive. My apologies. I dial back. I'm
Death Stranding movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've talked about that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is it time though? I mean, who knows?
If you have Kojima and you're showing, Death Stranding 2, and also, we're doing this, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Sonic will live in the shadow of his generation.
So this is very interesting to me and Blessing, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, it could mean a bunch of different things. There's one of the best Sonic games ever, Sonic Generations. It is the classic Sonic, modern Sonic at the time, and going through the most iconic levels of the Sonic franchise. And it was really, really, really good. It broke the Sonic cycle for the first time. We've had a couple times it's happened since. It's very rare, though, Greg. The thing that's weird about this is this kind of implies, and there's been some other rumors circulating that we're going to get like a remake or remaster of Generations. That is entirely unnecessary because
we just talked about that. You talked about that at the top of the show, right?
Yeah, the game came out so long ago on PS3 and Xbox 360, but it's one of those games that I praised for a long time that even the Xbox One X, so last generation, just the premium version of the console, gave it the like upscale or up whatever the hell it's called, where it was like 4K 60.
Okay.
Like they already did the thing. So I'm like, I wonder what they're going to add. Adding Shadow to the mix here. Interesting. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie coming out at the end of the year.
Yep.
Shadow is going to be heavily featured in that. Shadow is very, very popular for a lot of reasons.
And this Idris Elba is Knuckles in the Peacock show Knuckles.
Yes.
That's eventually going to happen. Okay.
Yes,
Make sure I'm caught.
Exactly. Rumors are.
Sonic lore now, ladies.
The rumors, Greg.
Yeah.
For Shadow's voice. Hayden Christensen. And there is a fucking god out there because it is perfect.
That's dope. That'd be dope, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it makes sense that they're going to want to get Shadow like back into the limelight. So some people were talking about potentially making this like they're going to add Shadow to Generations.
Okay.
So it'll be like Sega really loves to put out a Sonic game and then put out a Plus edition, like Sonic Origins Plus, Sonic Mania Plus. I could see them doing Sonic Generations Plus and adding Shadow as put him on the box, make it a big deal, make him playable. Like people, the freaks like me will get really excited about it. I think less likely it's a Sonic Generations 2. It just doesn't feel like we're there yet, but I don't know. Crazy shit. Roger said a long time ago, I think it was Raj, that he predicts that we will see Shadow the Hedgehog ported, which I think is unlikely. But
okay,
that's the one where he had a gun.
Huh?
That's the one where he had a gun.
Great. Where is that? Where does he kiss the girl?
That's 06.
Okay, they're gonna remake that soon.
You can only hope.
Okay. The hills will remain silent. Of course, Silent Hill. Then, right? Which one are we talking about? You think?
Silent Hill 2 remake.
Okay. Final.
Pretty much for sure.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that slated for this year? Question mark.
Last we heard, yeah, but I think it's one of those deals from that PlayStation video that was like, here's all the 2024 games or whatever, and it was one of them.
Similar to the Metal Gear, where like Metal Gear hasn't officially had a date, but it was insinuated in that video.
Yeah.
Okay. Until the Dawn. Of course, we've heard about this Until Dawn remaster.
Mm-hmm.
Or remake. I forget what the rumor actually was anymore. But something with Until Dawn. And then when you need to catch the Metro, which we just covered from Insider Gaming for the Metro VR, just don't be a Judas about it. Ken Levine's game.
Oh, I was like, I forgot what Judas is. Interesting.
Remember that one that popped? Had a really impressive thing, right? Wikipedia says Judas is an upcoming first-person shooter game developed and published by Ghost Story Games. It's Ken Levine's first video game since BioShock Infinite Burial at Sea in 2014. The game is scheduled to release for the PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series. I
mean, if this is true, this is going to be a good state of play.
Yeah.
Like, games we're excited about.
But let's not get our hopes up. We've all been here before, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. Have we? I
think people get unrealistic expectations for States of Plays.
Yeah, for sure. But this is realistic, though. That's the thing.
100%.
Like, I
Nothing
feel like,
you said was crazy. Well, Kojima living his dream, maybe.
I mean, yeah, but also like we have the setup. It's not like it's coming out of nowhere. He announces he's making a movie. It's like we know he's making a movie.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
all of this kind of adds up to me where it's like any of these things wouldn't be like, holy shit, I can't believe it's happening. It's just, oh wow, that's really solid. Similar to the Xbox thing a couple weeks ago, where they kind of told us everything that was going to be there for the most part, and that included Indiana Jones, which to me was like a surprise because that is a bigger game that you would expect they would save for a June showcase, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just being part of the developer direct. But I think that that's them kind of being like, look, this is what we have right now, so let's roll with it. And I think on the PlayStation side, like this, all the rumors here, I'm like, yeah, that totally adds up to where PlayStation's at currently. Like your point being, Rebirth being the big PlayStation game of Q1.
And I think that, again, what PlayStation needs to do is come out and have a big statement of what people can expect for this year. That's the big thing I hear over and over again from PlayStation fans who are trophy hounds like me and understand save scumming. And it is the idea that there's just nothing on the calendar right now, right? That is like, well, Helldivers 2, sure. Final Fantasy, sure. But we're talking about such, not even, I don't know if the world thinks in first party, second party, whatever, PlayStation Studios, but you need another reason of like, hey, here's why we have a PlayStation 5 in your house. This is what we did, why we spent the money. And so if you're able to come out here and be like, here's the exclusive for let's talk about all these exclusives for the year. We're talking about Final Fantasy. We're talking about Ronin. We're talking about Death Stranding 2, right? We're talking about Silent Hill. We're talking about Until Dawn. Judas has been announced before. So it's like, there it is. What a moment. This is the moment that changed gaming. Judases have been announced. Are they going to maybe say something about PlayStation Plus? Maybe it's a day and date PlayStation Plus thing. Like, I feel like.
Do you think that that's possible?
What? A day and date for PlayStation Plus, Judas? Yeah, why not?
I don't know. It just seems.
If it was on Xbox Game Pass, would you bat an eyelash?
That's different, though.
How? What about Stray?
Yeah, Stray and Ken Levine's next game don't feel the same to me.
Yeah,
I think Ken Levine sounds like different to us.
Yeah,
I love Ken Levine. I respect his work, and I mean, I've talked to the man, and we would wave at each other in the street. I'm not trying to downplay him. I don't think to the mainstream. I don't think Judas has a lot of juice outside of our circle of video game nerds, and I'm including you, who's watching or listening to the show. I don't think that's rocking the boat elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that. I just still think it. I think that they would want to protect it differently. They would want to put it somewhere, PlayStation, and just like Ken, money talks though.
Yeah,
but,
that's my thing. Is I think money talks for a team that's a smaller team that's been working on something that's like, remember when they shrunk down to be Ghost Story games, right?
Yeah.
It was, hey, we want to make smaller experiences and do the thing. I don't expect Judas to be a sweeping opus.
Yeah, me neither. But I don't know. I feel like. So far, I see Game Pass and Xbox and their strategy very differently than PlayStation and their PlayStation Plus strategy, and even just like the way that they, quote unquote, to use our phrase, throw money at the problem, right? I feel like Xbox has a strategy of doing that where it doesn't necessarily seem like PlayStation does. So I would be surprised to see that. Like, I don't think it's like impossible, but I would be surprised.
Here's why I would be surprised. I would just be surprised because that would be not something I would normally see from PlayStation in their state of play playbook. But again, I think I think to my point of why I would do this, we're in a weird year for PlayStation. Hey, guess what? Naughty Dog, Factions, gone. Fuck. That was going to be an ongoing, this is a great thing for PlayStation. We can rest on our laurels and prove ourselves here. It's gone. We've already gone back to the drawing board and pulled back on a lot of these live service projects. Shit, fuck, what do we, you know what I mean? Like, let's have we have to be making deals to make this make sense to people of like, again, there are games here. They're not first party, but we're making deals where you can only play them on your PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably going to be the first year without a Spider-Man God of War type game on the PS5. So you're right. What do you think about Concord?
All right. Let's go.
Do you think that it has a chance to, like, is it a foregone conclusion that this is just going to like be what we expect it to be of like, oh yeah, it's fine? Or like, do you think that there's a chance it's like, oh wow, we were wrong about all this? And like, I
don't know what we would be wrong about Concord. I think I think even if Concord blows my socks off on the 31st on Wednesday, right, or whatever, I don't think I would have been like, wow, I was so down on Concord before. It was just the fact of like, why are we doing them all at once? Why are we announcing so many of these all at once when it is is this fair game? No. Is this the PvE or is this the PvE? Is this the, you know what I mean? Like, it's just they did a bad thing of it. We know nothing about the game. We've seen nothing about the game. If this does drop and it has all this humor and all this life in it, which you look at this and you say it's inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, oh, I can see that, right? Like, you can see the stuff here in terms of like, oh shit, I get it. Okay. But like, again, multiplayer shooter, like, you're just entering a very, 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 very crowded space.
Yeah.
Where it's like, and I'm not the multiplayer shooter guy, so I don't know what you can come out and be like, you got to sell Mike and you got to sell Andy and you got to sell them on, oh, this isn't just a fun stream game. This is something we're committing to and we're going along with, and we're going to play at home and we're going to do this and we're going to come back and talk about how many hours we sunk into it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, again, that's not PlayStation's MO right now. And like, could it be? You know, if they get a foothold in that space, that could be huge for them. But it just seems like a very, very lofty goal.
100%. Yeah, I think it's a crowded market. I think the chips are stacked against them on that side. And I mean, Firewalk is a talented studio, but are they ready to rise to that occasion? And I say that, and I feel like that's not even fair because it's not even rising to the occasion. This is fucking Lex Luger slamming Yokozuna on the fucking battle carrier. Like, this is like a phenomenal feat that we've seen how many big talented studios fail to do.
Yeah.
And so you're coming out and being like, this is what it is. Like, all right. You know what I mean? I feel the same way about Helldivers too. A game, you all know how much I love Helldivers. Is Helldivers going to resonate in 2024 with the general PlayStation 5 audience when that drops? I hope so. I'm looking forward to playing it. But again, am I looking forward to streaming it for an afternoon with the boys? Or am I looking forward to streaming it, going home, coming back? Guys, I did this and I did that and we got it. I don't know. Yeah. Is that kind of game too? Like, we don't know. These games need to come out and they need to prove what they are and they need to show what they are. And they need to, I got a question in here from Brendan Turner, Sea of Thieves ? Which I could be referencing, of course, the fact that there had been the rumor it was coming to other platforms. Right? But it also is a great example of a game launching from a talented studio, backed by a big platform and being feature light and having to do the bullshit of, okay, now it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's all this stuff in it that makes it great. I think those... Which
is the perfect time to go to a new console.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're separate points.
Yeah. But for like, I think that day and age is gone.
Yeah.
I don't think you get that chance anymore to come out and be like, hey, we're an underwhelming launch, but
yeah. That's interesting. Another thing I want to address in the chat, people are saying that me saying PlayStation doesn't throw money was wrong. Obviously, they throw money at exclusives. Like we see that, especially with Square, with 16, 7 remake and Rebirth and all of that. I'm talking about like so far. I don't think the strategy is throwing money at things for PlayStation Plus the way that.
Sure.
Xbox throwing money for Game Pass.
Where they're justifying why you're signing up for this all the time. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Like I said, we'll be reacting, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be this Wednesday, January 31st, 2 p.m. Pacific. You can catch us live on YouTube. You can catch us live on Twitch. We'll be up. We'll be talking about it. We'll be seeing if anything happens. Praying Ocelot Games. Where's Blue Point? Exactly.
Where's Blue Point?
Where the fuck is Blue Point?
Where the fuck is Blue Point?
Could that be them? Could this be them?
No.
Don't get your hopes up.
No.
Don't get your hopes up, everybody. Remember, a lot of things going on over there. I digress. One thing we won't have to wait too long on, maybe, is what's happening with the Suicide Squad. Number 3 on the Roper Report, I will get to in 1 second. But first, let me remind you, dear viewer and listener, that we couldn't be Kind of Funny without you and your support on Patreon or YouTube. Of course, if you get the Kind of Funny membership on either platform, you can get each and every episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily ad-free. You can watch the shows live as we record them, and you can get my daily vlog series, Greg Way. But since you're not a Kind of Funny member, here's a word from our sponsor. Kind of Funny turns 9 years old today. We could have made it 9 days without your support. That's why 2024 is all about doubling down on our shows and making it simpler than ever for you to get the most out of our content. Our revamped Kind of Funny membership is your one-stop shop for all our amazing content, which now includes on a weekly basis the Kind of Funny podcast, In Review, the Kind of Funny Games Cast, P.S. I Love You XOXO, the Kind of Funny X-Cast, the brand new series Kind of Funny Game Showdown. 5 episodes of Kind of Funny Games Daily, and 5 exclusive Greg Way vlogs.
And 5 days of streaming fun with me and the gang here in our newly revamped streaming space. It's going to be filled with a ton of laughter and a whole lot of shenanigans. We'll see you there.
That's more than 20 pieces of content a week from an 11-person independent team in San Francisco. That's a lot. And to get the most out of it, All we're asking for is $10. $10 gets you the Kinda Funny membership, and that entitles you to ad-free versions of the shows, the ability to watch the podcast live as we record them, and the exclusive access to my daily show, Greg Way. You can get your Kinda Funny membership on patreon.com/kindafunny or youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Yes, we are expanding our Kinda Funny membership offering to YouTube so people can take full advantage of the platform they prefer. If you want to go above and beyond the Kinda Funny membership to support us, we will still have higher Patreon tiers, albeit with some changed up perks. We just wanted to make the message as clear as possible that the $10 Kinda Funny membership is for the masses to get all of the core content people love. Everything above that is very appreciated. The support means the world to us. You all are the best. But the $10 Kinda Funny membership available on both patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames is where we see the value of what we do. Kinda Funny is a dream come true, and we wouldn't have it without you. We hope if you've ever enjoyed the content, you can support us for at least a month as we prepare for our biggest year ever. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. One thing to tack on to our State of Play conversation is a tweet from the one and only president of video games, Jeff Keighley, who tweeted all the same stuff we said, but 15 plus games. I don't know where he's coming up with that number. I'm not seeing that. Of course, I'm just glancing at the blog post right now, but good for him.
15 plus games, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
He calls it extended showcases for Ronin and Stellar Blade.
Ooh.
So, yeah, imagine quicker hits on the rest.
15 plus games, Greg, comes from PlayStation's tweet announcing it.
Got it.
There we go. So it's
Barrett,
a fish.
what I want you to do is grab your ruler and go hit blessing on the knuckles for not having that information in there.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Wait, and hit yourself for saying you're sorry, because you have to say sorry. Number 3 on the Rope Report. Rocksteady pulls Suicide Squad an hour into early access after players' games auto-completed. This is Andy Robinson at VGC. Developer Rocksteady was forced to pull Suicide Squad servers offline less than an hour into its early access release after players experienced a bug which automatically completed the game after they logged in for the first time. The online co-op title officially releases on February 2nd. However, those who purchase the more expensive deluxe edition can play 72 hours early. The first territory to go live, as always, was New Zealand, with many international players using a popular region trick on Xbox consoles in order to play Suicide Squad early. However, less than an hour after the game went live, Rocksteady took the servers offline and told players the downtime would last several hours while it investigated the auto game completion bug. Quote, "We're aware that a number of players are currently experiencing an issue whereby upon logging into the game for the first time, they have full story completion," the studio said. "To resolve this issue, we will be performing maintenance on the game servers. During this time, the game will be unavailable. We expect this to take several hours and will update once we have more information. We apologize for the inconvenience."
Multiplayer game having problems on day one?
Woof.
Groundhog Day, Greg. Groundhog Day is when the game comes out. February 2nd.
Oh, that's good. That's good right there. You got him. You got him
go.
right there. There's no update on that yet. It's still down. Is that still the idea? I saw earlier before we went live, I believe Paul Tassi from Forbes being like, it's been X amount of hours and there's been no update. But I might be misquoting who was.
Yo, it's rough out there. This is not good news for this game specifically. And I feel like there's a lot to talk about with this story. I feel like we've seen this story a million times.
Yeah.
With different companies, teams, games, etc. Right now, this game.
No, okay. So an hour later, they said we have identified the problem. We're still trying. We are currently testing a fix. We hope to implement it and have the game back online as soon as possible. Thanks for your patience.
Like this is this is bad for a multitude of reasons, but one that I really want to shine a light on here, Greg, is the fact that this is the early access that people paid extra for, right? That just sucks. And that's already something people are like, I don't feel great about this. I get it, but I don't feel great about it. And like for this to happen, it's really like there's not going to be a solution that people are happy with of like any type of refund or any type of like you get something for this mistake type thing, right? And like it almost just feels like some games that makes sense business-wise for, and some games it just doesn't. And I feel like live service multiplayer games, you probably shouldn't do that unless you're absolutely sure things are going to go well. And you really can't be sure of that. I think that's been proven, right?
Yeah.
I can't even think of a game like this that didn't have some type of problem.
Division 2.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not even, everyone knows I'm a Division 2 stan, but that was one of the headlines out of the Division 2 launch. Like, holy shit.
It just worked?
It actually worked.
Good.
It's got the things it's supposed to have, and nobody's
Great job.
freaking out.
Great job.
Yeah. And I want to say, I was going to say Diablo 4. All up to saying that too. There's been more. There's been more, of course, than what you'd think.
Yeah.
But like, this is a pretty colossal problem to have.
Oh, yeah.
Autocomplete bug, like that's just fucking. You never hear that. Usually, it's you can't connect. You don't get the goodies you were promised. Yada yada yada. It's like, okay, fuck. Like, what the fuck? And have it taken down and have it be like, they've identified the fix and they're currently testing it. This plays into so many problems / theories / questions about Suicide Squad. So it is, how do you want to approach it? If we want to approach it head on, what fucking sucks about this is that this is the most dedicated player base. These are the people who have seen everything and been like, I am all in. This is my kind of game. I can't wait for this. There's so many people, of course, who take days off of work to do these kind of things, which is always hard to do. And then this kind of shit happens and you can expect it. But in 2024, should we be expecting it anymore? And again, like, this is to move away from that. Then you're talking about a game that has had, from the get-go, been pushing a boulder up a hill. And I'll whether you like games as a service or don't, whether you like multiplayer games or you don't, all that aside, let's talk about the fact that Rocksteady is a very talented team, right? And has done some incredible games. And so for them to have to eat shit fucking for how long now, since that state of play last yearish about this time, right? Where they were like, oh, fuck, we're delaying the game. Like, they have just eaten shit. And you have to feel so bad for those developers who are trying to make something cool, are trying, and whether or not it was like they were forced into it or yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're all going to work every day being like, this is going to be cool. It's Metropolis and it's DC and we can do this and we can do that and blah, blah, blah. And so just to be fucking hit over the head every time, to do the streams last week, right? The Shroud stream and the Lupo stream, where it's like, here's our big coming up. That fucking Poison Ivy glitches out of it and the game breaks in front of everybody. It's like,
it's not good.
A game where everyone has been like, I don't know about this, to have it constantly be every headline, be like, I don't know about this. Like, shit.
That's real bad. And on top of that, like, there's spoiler cultures out there. And obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything. Don't worry about that. But I was shocked today opening up Twitter and how, like, normally with spoilers and games and stuff, like, they don't come up on my feed. I cannot believe the amount of shit I saw today with, like, obviously not even seeking it out. But I was like, wow, I was just spoiled for something I'm not going to play, so I don't really care. Yeah. But I was shocked.
Yeah, that was big news when they data mined it or whatever. This is like during the beta.
Months ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
But I didn't see shit till today. Yeah. So it just, I don't know what it is. And it's anecdotal, but like, it just feels like what you're talking about, this like shit storm of conversation. Like, none of this is good. None of it.
What I was talking to Jen about, over the weekend was, again, like, everybody knows that I'm a DC fanboy. I'm a DC super fan. I love DC. As I've said, very similar to DC EU, Suicide Squad from the announcement is very much not the game I wanted. Like, this is not what I'd like to do in the DC universe. However, I have stayed away from everything. I think I might know the headline version of the spoiler you're talking about. And I know, I won't even say the very top level stuff of it. I've seen things, but I haven't seen it in action. I haven't seen that happen. And it's to the point that, like, not even the spoilery part of the spoilers, but just in general, like, I was scrolling through TikTok and it was Easter eggs inside the Hall of Justice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've stayed as media blackout as I can if I'm not reacting to it, right? Like, I purposely didn't play the beta. Like, I was like, I don't want to, because no matter what, I'm turning this on, and I'd like to say at 12 tonight, but I'll probably be asleep. First thing in the morning, and I'm playing all day tomorrow until Gamescast, so I can come on and talk about it. Hopefully, I'm playing all day tomorrow until Gamescast. So it's like, as a DC fan, I'm still excited for this. Everything I've seen of it makes me think it's not going to be a Greg game, and I'm not going to be like, but I want to give it that shot. I want to be behind it. I think what's interesting about Suicide Squad is that they have made so many bad impressions, whether we're talking about the state of play, whether we're talking about the preview cycle that just ended, whether we're talking about the next news story that's coming up. They've made so many bad impressions that it is so far beyond the amount of people who are initially or period going to play it. It is very much one of those, like, everyone's knives are super fucking sharp and they are waiting and watching for this game to fuck up. And the fact that it keeps fucking up makes it very easy for everybody to drag it through the streets and be like, see, games as a service fucking suck. You know what I mean? It's like, well, yes, no, kind of, not for that. Like, there's so many different pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah, there are, but also You know,
proofs of the pudding.
And here
Can't
we
argue
are.
the facts.
Here we fucking are. Like, this happening is not good.
And you nail it of like, am I playing it all day tomorrow? That's a great question. Like, video games are not easy, period. End of statement. Everyone knows that. And so 6 hours ago, they tweeted that, hey, we know something's wrong. 1 hour ago, they tweeted, we've identified it, and now we're testing a fix. What if that fix doesn't work? What if this is a bigger lift than they ask? What if, I mean, like, you bought early access, you bought this deluxe edition for $100, kindafunny.com/you're wrong. You bought it, and you really aren't able to play it till tomorrow, midday. You aren't able to play it till Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, those are real concerns. And to your point earlier of, like, there's no way to make it right kind of thing, I think there is, in quotes, where it is that, hey, we're giving skins, we're giving whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Here's your thing. We're sorry that happened to you.
I'm sure they already have a plan. I'm sure they already have a thing of like, oh yeah, we'll just give them this shit. Who cares? Right? Whatever. And time will just like heal it all. And then look, No Man's Sky, right? Rainbow Six Siege. Like, there's so many examples of things coming out, being a little mucky over time. They get there, right? I just think that it's very sad that here we are in 2024 for a Rocksteady game, and we're having this conversation.
100%.
And it is one of those things that everyone called it, and that sucks too. Where it's like, I get, like, let people make the game they want to make. It doesn't necessarily need to just be like do the same thing you do over and over and over and over and over, all that stuff. But then when this happens, it's not necessarily the best tasting thing to take with the medicine, you know?
Yeah. Moving on, let's move to number 3, which is another number 4, which is another Suicide Squad called What's Up with Suicide Squad reviews? We go to Tom Marks at IGN, who wrote an article, says, where's our Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League review? Suicide Squad's early access period will go live around the world late Monday night on consoles, and parentheses, 10 a.m. Pacific Tuesday on Steam, which means that when it's officially out, practically speaking. Unfortunately, we, IGN.com, won't have a review of Rocksteady's new Games as a Service looter shooter for you right away, as codes have not been sent ahead of time. I'm going to pause the article right here, right? Okay. Not unexpected in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the amount of live service games that do go live, it is rare, I would say, that you get the code ahead of time, and it is cool. You can go play the whole thing because, of course, you need a server and you need this thing. And if we turned it on early, then blah, blah, blah. Like, okay. We've seen that a lot. What we don't see is this next part, back to Tom. And I'll give you the sentence again just to get there. Unfortunately, we won't have the review of Suicide Squad's new Games as a Service, Rocksteady's new Games as a Service looter shooter for you right away, as codes have not been sent ahead of time. In fact, Warner Brothers Games informed IGN that it has declined to send us codes at all. That's disappointing because we always strive to have a full opinion on major game available to you at launch. But it's well within WB's rights. Sending out review codes is neither an obligation nor something we take for granted. We will purchase our own copies and start our review in progress, guides, and other coverage the moment it launches. And we'll have impressions up as soon as we can after that. Thanks for being patient. So again, 2 things here. One, okay, the other a noodle scratcher. Number 1, we're not sending you codes ahead of time because I'm filling it in because it's a server game and the servers aren't live and yada, yada. Okay, fine. Totally normal, natural. The second part, WB Games informed IGN that it has declined to send us codes at all, meaning that they were like, codes aren't going out until launch and you aren't getting them. You, IGN.com, the main reviewing video game outlet in the world, are not getting them. That you don't hear as much anymore.
Yeah.
That's I feel like a 2008 old school, like, oh, you're blackballed kind of
Is that true, though? Do we not hear that anymore? Because I feel like, if anything, we hear it more than ever. Like, I think that the separation of church and state and the ethics of everything, it's like, I think all of it's been out the window for a while. And I feel like everybody, around the time that Nintendo Direct changed the game when it came to how you can deliver your own information, everyone's like, we don't need E3. What the fuck? We can just do it ourselves. We've seen people have different strategies, right? And like you look at when outlets were actually blackballed, like with Kotaku and 2K, right? Yeah. And how that all resulted and what that looked like.
Kotaku currently with Bethesda.
Exactly, right? And there is very much a talk shit, get shot mentality with all this. And is that right? Is it wrong? I'm not judging any of that shit. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that this is as, like, out of nowhere or of an old time. I think, if anything, it's more modern. I think we're going to see more of it, especially with the WB stuff.
Well, there's 2 different parts to it, because you can talk about talk shit, get shot, I'm a small video game vlog website, I burned you, I said bullshit, yada yada. Okay, you're racist, or you're doing this thing, or you're talking, like, we don't want you representing our game or even having a part of it, yada, yada, yada. That's not rare because, of course, there should be a decorum to what you're doing here. What's rare is that IGN.com is the one being told, no, you don't get a code for this, which is the part that I think is holy shit, you don't see that often. Not to mention, there's a million different ways to tackle this, too, of the different angles for this, where it's like, you would assume we have to fill in a lot of gaps here. You would assume, as the chatter has been, IGN's preview was incredibly negative, right, for Suicide Squad in this last one around. On top of that, Del Walker, who's now at Naughty Dog but had been worked on Suicide Squad, went all in on a tweet from IGN a while back, which was like, hey, here's the first whatever, here's what Suicide Squad looks like, here's what Arkham Knight looked like X years ago. And Del Walker was like, that's clearly the RTX GeForce enhanced version of Arkham Knight, like blah, blah, and IGN deleted that tweet.
Fan modded stuff, yeah.
So there's this whole thing where IGN, I have seen, like even today they did a tweet or an article that was like, you can get Suicide Squad for 34% off already, and it's not out yet, right? And people responded to this like, that's just an eBay code. Like, that's not like they're doing, like, they're, so
this is being reported as news. Like, this is a news headline being presented as social media, which is, again, I'm not throwing shade in any direction with this. It's more just talking about what's being given here.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like, me and Lucy James were talking about this last week. It's interesting that, like, this shift towards, this is the news. Like, before we always talk about, read the article, don't just look at the headline. News is now being presented as just an image with some text on it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the takeaway. Nope, people aren't going to IGN.com. They're just seeing this pop up on Twitter or
and I mean, like,
or
to be
Instagram.
clear, like, if we can delete our photos for 1 second. Well, Suicide Squad is already marked down 34% in the UK before launch day. Boom. That's the image. IGN, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. There, over here is the tweet that says Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League is currently 35% in the UK, bring the price down to just 30. And again, if you click through, right, learn more on how to save, it is just bringing you to an article that's talking about one very specific eBay listing. That, I would say, is crucial information that is missing from both the tweet and the image, right? Because it does, again, to the general public, knives out, ready to fucking feast on Suicide Squad's failure. It does look like
it's a very misleading headline.
Across the board, that's happening. And so, granted, that was a today thing. This is the weekend thing or whatever. What I think's not crazy about it, but it is this weird thing of, at this point, pulling codes. You know, like, I don't, like, I mean, my thing is, if I'm WB Games and I'm mad at IGN for their, I'm mad at them for their coverage.
Yeah.
And like, you're IGN. You're going to be able to buy the fucking game.
Totally.
I'm not even slightly inconveniencing you at this part. If I was going to be vindictive as hell, I'd be like, all right, cool. Here are your codes. Next time when Wonder Woman comes around, we ain't working with it. We ain't doing it first. We're going to Game
I
Showdown,
wouldn't be
whatever.
surprised, honestly. Like, that's what I'm saying is I think that we're going to see a lot more of this. I think that just things have changed. And at the end of the day, it's all marketing for them. They don't give a fuck about the reviews, like people getting clicks on reviews and stuff for the game. They want people to buy the game. You know what I mean?
Which,
like,
again, I think specifically for Suicide Squad, and again, I have not touched the game. It only works to Suicide Squad's benefit based on preview coverage, not having reviews ready at launch.
Yeah.
Because you do want it to be like,
totally,
your favorite streamer's playing it, your friends are playing it, well, let's jump in. And then you're all either disappointed or happy together, and it doesn't matter what everybody says.
But I'm interested in who does get codes. Because, like, right now, it's like IGN's not getting codes. Is anybody getting codes? And when I say anybody, I mean, like, are any traditional media getting codes? Or is that just not their strategy at all?
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, like, I would not be surprised if GameSpot doesn't get it either. You know? We're not getting it. And I know that we're not nearly on the same level, but when you look at WB Games, the last couple of games, Mortal Kombat 1, it was an interesting structure too. Not the most interesting, but I remember we got those way later than we expected to. And did I say Mortal Kombat 1? That's what I meant to say. Mortal Kombat 1. And then obviously Hogwarts Legacy before that. Like, that was a whole different can of worms for different reasons. But
I do want to bring up here just what you said, all right? Demon Hacker says, Tim just revealed they didn't get a code. What's important to point out is that Tim and I don't get to talk that much, and I'm the czar of game coverage and the czar of game codes. I have been told we are getting codes.
Okay, cool.
Not like the entire team. We're not being rained on codes, but I have had conversations with PR that we are to expect codes from this game.
I wonder if GameSpot's going to get it. You know, I wonder if this is this they're mad at IGN thing, or is this just they're not going for traditional media type thing? Because we fall in that weird place.
That's
you know?
interesting. Yeah,
but,
yeah.
And again,
my thing
I'm
about
not
it,
saying
my
anyone's
thing
right or
about
wrong.
it would be this though, is I feel like in our industry, in our side of the industry, where we rally around each other and try to protect each other, I would say that if GameSpot had similar messaging of you're not getting codes, I think they'd also be saying something. I think there'd be a conversation happening around it.
I don't know, man. I mean, this feels so toxic right now, and it's like, again, it just feels like I'm not aligned with either side. I think both sides are doing dumb shit here, right? So it's like, I don't know that I'd want to like. I mean, here we are even talking about it in a way that I don't think is like pro IGN in any way. You know, not that you necessarily need to be pro. This is layered, man.
It's very layered, and I think the most fascinating part, and I wanted to look this up ahead of time. There's an old adage that I'm totally fucking up. Oh, God, it's bad. But it's basically like if you were going to fight the newspaper, it's like, don't fight with somebody who gets paid to use ink. You know what I mean? And that's the thing where it's weird that there's no WB newsletter that they're going to come out and be like, yo, this is why we did this. So it does seem vindictive. But then you look at like the headline there, you're like, well, that is a pretty bad fucking headline. That is not the best way to represent that information. And then there is the Del Walker yelling about the footage. You're like, okay, I get that too. So it's like, I'm sorry. I know
go for it.
Touching your hand. Is it that they're actually mad at Destin's preview, or is it the coverage that has surrounded it where it has been? Hey, we're getting a lot of social engagement kicking the shit out of this game, or publishing bad news and whatever, and it's news, it's real, it's whatever, but maybe putting it through a filter like that, like we just saw with the headline that makes it go, oh, that's fucking weird.
And I think it's very important to point out that there are many moving pieces. There are many different teams. Teams don't necessarily, like you even just said, like I thought we didn't get codes, but we did get codes. Like
we do not have codes in our possession.
Sorry,
I have been told.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. To be clear,
and that's fine. That's totally within your rights.
But my point is, like, there's people that don't know things. There's people that do know things at companies, and until there's communication, there isn't. And I feel like at IGN, there's the social team, there's the news team, there's all these different.
Blessing Adeoye calls out, I think their social team needs to communicate better with their editorial.
100%, and that's what needs to happen, because clearly something's going on here where it's like, whether or not that's news or stuff, with the context of what's going on right now, they probably shouldn't have put out that.
I feel like so many times IGN, friends of the show that we love and adore, get in trouble. It usually is the social team.
Yeah, but
not that they are bad, they are wrong, they are whatever, but they're trying to make content. What was the one where they did the thing about, why IGN games, why there's so many sevens?
Yeah.
And they're like, said something to the effect of like, well, if a game below that wouldn't be worth your time or something like that. I was like, ooh, that's not the way. And like Dan Stapleton had put up a thing about it and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Everyone has opinions on opinions,
people
man.
trying to be one organization.
Exactly. And like that, it gets very, very complicated. And the game side's the same too. Rocksteady and WB are the same. Like Rocksteady doesn't get to make the choices. WB Games does. So how the game is marketed, where it goes, like, there's so much shit at play here that like I'm very interested in how this plays out. I'm interested in
what are the ramifications
who,
of it?
when, and how they get codes, and what that ends up turning into. And when review embargo lifts, whatever that is, what does it even look like? Is it just going to be a ton of reviews in progress? And I don't know.
I mean, for Suicide Squad, I don't think anybody's getting it early, so I don't think there is an embargo. I think it's going to be that. You know, you either get a code if that's actually happening, or you buy the game at midnight or whenever it's actually available or whatever. And I think you go from there. And it is a bunch of reviews in progress, and nobody has a date for a long time, probably, unless it's, you know, a quick burn that you get through and see the end game and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a fascinating time. It's an interesting thing. The Suicide Squad, like it keeps getting weirder. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, that state of play, and then the thing, you're like, okay. Then they came back, okay, but then it's this and it's that and it's this, and then it's the HUD, it's this, it's the arguments, it's that, it's the beta, don't talk about it. Oh shit, the previewers hate the game. But if you played the beta, you can talk about it. Okay, the game's out, but it's broken, but it's bad. And it's like,
it all started in the dome.
It all started in the dome, ladies and gentlemen. That's a great point.
They got us in the dome. They trapped us in the dome.
Never want to leave the dome.
We'll never leave.
Anyways, the next step will be interesting.
Yeah.
Is IGN going to talk to WB behind closed doors to get back on to do this thing, to be able to do this?
Try, right?
Spot from here on out. That's where they go with all their stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think WB Games is one of the more interesting, clearly they don't give a fuck type things about like who they piss off and stuff. Like they have their own thing. They're like, they don't need IGN. They don't need any of this shit. They just need people buying and playing their games. And like, they've shown that they'll do anything possible to make that happen, even if it's not the like traditional way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to continue to see more and more of that from a lot of other publishers, but I think from them specifically.
You have to imagine with WB Games working with the IP they work with.
Yeah.
The fact that everything's IP. Hogwarts must be the one where they're just pointing at the wall and being like,
why
the fucking industry, video game critics and everybody else, they were all up in arms about this, and it's the fucking runaway success of the year in terms of copies. Like, we clearly don't need them. So.
Totally.
Okay. Well, let's move on to sad news. Let's move on to layoff news. Let's move on to, of course, an Embracer story. Number 5 on the Roper Report, ladies and gentlemen, is the Embracer Group cancels Deus Ex video game. This is Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. Embracer Group is canceling a video game in the Deus Ex series after 2 years of development and will lay off a number of employees as part of an ongoing initiative to cut costs, according to people familiar with the moves. Eidos, the Montreal, Canada-based studio behind the game, will instead focus on an original franchise. The canceled Deus Ex project, which has not been named or announced, was slated to enter production later this year. But the people, speaking anonymously because they are not authorized to talk to the press, the company did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Following a period of massive expansion during the pandemic, Embracer Group has lately been making widespread layoffs, game cancellations, and studio closures. The sci-fi Deus Ex series has been critically acclaimed and sold more than 14 million units worldwide. It was acquired by Embracer in 2022. Pretty much around the time we went live, Square Enix Montreal did in fact put out a statement. Eidos Montreal put out a statement, and I'm going to read it now in full. For the last 17 years, our teams at Eidos have worked on some of the most beloved brands in the industry, combining deep storytelling and innovation into unique games. We have created memorable, multi-awarded experiences that we are proud of, and we know our team members have put their hearts and souls into them. The global economic context, the challenges of our industry, and the comprehensive restructuring announced by Embracer have finally impacted our studio. The difficult decision has been made to let go of 97 people from development teams, administration, and support services. We are working to support all impacted personnel through this transition. These very talented, highly experienced people are entering the employment market, and we want them to find their next projects and are helping them do so. As we navigate these difficult times, the well-being of our team is our priority, and the continuous commitment to creating games that players will be able to enjoy in the nearby future. To our players, it's oftentimes not just the games, but the game makers as well that we all celebrate and admire. Our commitment is to always making the best games for our amazing fans, and even with this restructuring change, we continue to fight on to deliver those awesome experiences for us to share together. Thank you for your continuing support and well wishes, Eidos Montreal. Boo.
Steps continue to exploiting Lord of the Rings, and that's all that it is.
Boo.
Just like gobble up every single company possible, lay them off, and then just Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, and will any of it be good? Will any people be left to make it? Who the hell knows, man? This sucks. And Eidos Montreal is such an incredibly talented team.
Very talented.
And like this, again, here we go. Like I feel like continuing the trend of layoff stories every single day.
Can't get away from them. Can't shake them. Can't get away from them. Super sad. I know how many people are Deus Ex fans. I know our own Nick Scarpino, a huge Deus Ex fan. Crushed. Are you crushed, Nick? They cancel one. Devastated, he says off camera. He's devastated. Yeah, I know you've been busy. You're walking around with Mike in a bunch of batteries, so I know you're up to something.
And Guardians, man, it was so good.
The Guardians team, yeah, of course. Fucking sucks. Goddamn Embracer. If only somebody had warned them that their business strategy made no sense. But no one listens to handsome, trending gamers. Number 6 on the Roper Report, Square Enix's Visions of Mana could be coming to Game Pass. This is the one, the only, Jordan Midler at VGC. Square Enix's Visions of Mana may be coming to Xbox Game Pass, as spotted by users on X. Jordan, be part of the right side of history. Just keep calling it Twitter. The game's website explicitly refers to Game Pass, despite the fact that the game has not been confirmed for Xbox's subscription service. When searching the game via a search engine, the preview text field refers to the game as coming soon to Xbox Series X and S and Game Pass. Announced in December and detailed in a new trailer during the Xbox Developer Direct, Visions of Mana is set for a release in 2024 on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Great news, of course.
Yeah.
This game looks amazing. I can't wait to play it, yada, yada. Why wouldn't you have put this in the Direct? Was the deal not signed?
Maybe the deal wasn't signed, but yeah, no, I'm with you. They definitely,
that would have been a great little.
It would have been great, and I wouldn't be surprised if this happens. And this goes back to what I was saying. We've seen Xbox invest in this strategy of getting the games on Game Pass and making it like a kind of no-brainer. Of why wouldn't you play here? Why would you buy it somewhere else when you could just get it on Game Pass here? But again, I really commend Xbox for putting their best foot forward in terms of working with the Japanese partners and looking at everything that they've done with Persona, everything they're doing with Square, with all of these things. Like, it is a different Xbox than we've seen before. And like so many of these games that we would only expect to see in PlayStation showcases or depending on the console, Nintendo Directs or partner showcases, like Xbox is starting to kind of become a place I expect to see these types of games, which kudos to them, man. That is a very, very, very important part of the games market that I feel like they're going to be able to serve and have been.
Tim?
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of all the big news. If I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know about, where would I go?
You go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Number 7, the Wii News. Sony invested an undisclosed sum into Carry First, an African gaming startup. Sony hopes to grow its PlayStation footprint in Africa. In an interview with YouTuber Julian Chize, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth producer speculated that a full-blown remake of Final Fantasy VI. I'm getting there. Hold on. Let me do the math. Would be even more ambitious than the Final Fantasy VII remake and could take 20 years to make.
Lot to break down here, where it's like I get the point. I truly understand what's being said. I just in my gut, Greg, I feel it. I would be shocked.
Is he gonna come out and say we've been doing it?
No. They're working on 7. Right? That's crazy. But I do think that it'd be wild if in the next 5 years we don't actually get a Final Fantasy VI HD 2D remake.
Okay.
Like they've even flirted with a little bit the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters that came out.
Yeah.
I want to say last year. Like the iconic opera scene from Final Fantasy VI was done in semi HD 2D style. And it would just be a damn shame if we never got that. And I also feel like that's the best way to serve that story and that game and what makes it special. Whereas like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think is the right way for 7.
All right. That wasn't Wii News. You had too much to say about it. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has earned the largest launch on Steam for any game released by RGG Studio. Blizzard's new president, replacing Mike Ybarra, is Joanne Ferries, a former Call of Duty NFL executive. Day of the Devs has announced that it's now a 100% independent, non-profit property. Tim Schafer is going to come host the show tomorrow to talk all about that.
Yeah, him and Bless.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is out today on PC, PlayStation 4, and PS5. Open Roads has been delayed till March 28th. God damn it. I guess that's actually, I got a lot of games to play.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is getting Goku's Next Journey DLC soon. And then Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising DLC character 2B from Nier Automata launches February 20th alongside version update 1.2.
I love it, man. Is it the best song ever recorded?
It might
Maybe.
be. Yeah.
It's between this and Get Lucky by Daft Punk.
No, Daft Punk. That's all you want. Obviously, a lot of people super chatted. I appreciate that a lot. We're out of time, though. I want to talk to just Tundra Boy here with a super chat. Will Suicide Squad be the #1 game for NPD in February?
Oof.
Right?
No.
See what gets hard about that, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
But it's
Yeah,
also
February
that's coming at the
29th.
very
last day.
very
Yeah.
late.
So I
What
feel
about
like
Mario vs. Donkey Kong? Maybe that'll save the day.
nah, I don't think so. I mean, Barrett, what do you think is if you say no?
Banishers?
I think even though it's the last day, I think just the anticipation for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and just like day 1 sales, I think could be pretty high.
We're back to the fact, though, of like
Suicide Squad is multiplayer.
I think it's
is
Suicide
IP.
Squad.
It's on everything. It's Suicide Squad. It is a superhero game to play with your friends. Like they're sponsoring every wrestling event that's happening. I'm seeing commercials out there and billboards. Like they're going hard, and so it is the
I think it
who's out
happens.
there on the general public to pick it
That's
up and
fair.
go. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, it's going to be a race, I guess, between Final Fantasy and Suicide
I don't
Squad.
think it'll be as crazy as Harry Potter. Suicide Squad does not have that same IP.
I agree.
Though.
I agree with that 100%. A Superman game sure would.
Superman.
We go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong, where you can tell us what we screwed up as we screw it up. It's just somebody saying something there. Eric says free PlayStation Plus day and date games have included Rocket League, Fall Guys, Bug Snacks, Oddworld Soulstorm, Shadow Warrior 3, GTA 5 Online, Stray, DKO Divine Knockouts, Chill, Meet Your Maker, Humanity, Rogue Legacy 2, and Foam Stars. Rogue Legacy 2 is a bit cheating because that game was old by the time it got here. And then Nuaje's Eyes says the phrase is never argue with someone who buys ink by the barrel. Thank you very much.
It's funny. I like it. It feels really mean.
It does. It is. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, Tim Schafer joins us tomorrow to host Kind of Funny Games Daily. This, of course, has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live on Twitch, YouTube, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon and YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free. Watch us record them live as we record them, like the Kind of Funny podcast this afternoon. And of course, get my daily vlog Greg way. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.